Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel and to this new My Team series. Now, if you watched last race, you would have known that we finished 7th, which was an amazing result. It was an absolute crazy action-packed race, which was really fun to drive, and I hope you had a good time watching that too. But if you're like me, and some of you are like me, it wasn't particularly realistic, as I've obviously got a lot better driving this game, or racing on this game, and I put it on 100 to start with, as that's kind of what I used to race with, and I did a lot better than I thought. So for this race, we are going to bump it up to 105 difficulty, and we will see how we get on with that. So, yep. Without further ado, let's jump into this episode and get straight to what happened at the factory and facilities of the Rocket Racing team. So one of the benefits of doing the 10 race seasons is that you actually get more time to do some of the weekly activities, I would say, and actually you can only do all of them in between the races doing 10 race seasons, which is pretty cool. So yeah, so we've done most of those activities, and here we are looking at improving the rear suspension arms, or just the suspension arms in general, I think that is, and hopefully that's going to come after this next Grand Prix, and that is a major part, though it has 40% chance of failing, which isn't great, but hopefully that comes through and that'll be really beneficial. Also, we had a new sponsor slot available, and I chose to go with Polar. It doesn't pay particularly well, but it looks nice, and any car that looks good goes much faster.
It's true.
So there you can see it. Yeah, we've got the new sponsors on it. I think that looks pretty good, so very happy with that. We also managed to get 2 million, and we decided to go with the resource points generation for the Aerodynamics factory, which is just going to bring in about 60 extra R&D points a week, I think, which is going to help just accelerate the car along in terms of development. We also decided to upgrade part of the chassis, which is the central under tray, and I believe that is also going to come just after this next Grand Prix. And we also had a part come through without failing. So with the powertrain unit, we had the ignition system from last episode, which has come through without failing, which is great. So a bit more extra power. So the last thing to look at before we head into qualifying at this race weekend is the vehicle performance comparison. And as you can see there, we are currently the second slowest car on the grid. So technically for this qualifying session, we probably would be lucky if we get out of Q1. And also the next slide shows that we are actually fairly close to Haas and Alfa Romeo, although they have currently overtaken us in the performance index. Okay, so that's everything that's happened at the factory. Let's head to the track and for qualifying at the Dutch Grand Prix. Yep, so here we are at the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, and we're just going to check the track temperature and see what is going on, and it looks like we've got a clean session, or sunny session I should say. Also just checking out, we've got the softs on, and that's all good, and we are ready to go out for our first lap. Okay, so here we are on the banked corner at Zandvoort, which is quite a unique thing really. There's a couple of them in this track, and over the line we go for our first lap as we start it. Into turn 1, a little bit wide there, but you can carry a bit more speed due to the camber of the track. As we come into the next cambered part of the track, which is great fun, you can go quite wide and carry the speed up there if you want, though we're taking the more racing line of this and just keeping it nice and narrow. This part of the track is quite weird. It tends to only be like one part of the line that you follow through. As we drop down to gear 7, probably should have gone down to gear 6 to get a bit more power out of that. A little bit wide there, we could have taken a little bit more curb actually. Gear 3, this one's really tricky. It feels like it goes on forever. And there we are, DRS wide open. Not too bad so far, but again, could definitely go a bit quicker. Down to gear 2 for the extra rotation. Little bit of a kick out there as well. Probably should have got to gear 3 and 4 quicker. A little bit too slow for there. We need to be a bit more aggressive. And following the bank corner all the way around, keeping it nice and tight as we head straight towards the line. And that is going to be a 1:11.1. So not a great lap. Could definitely go quicker. As we look there, we are currently P16. But surprisingly, Max Verstappen is at the bottom there as he hasn't actually done his race lap. So technically, if he hasn't got a problem and can get out, he was going to bump us out into P17 and knock us out in Q1 unless we improve. And also you can see there my teammate Nobuharu Matsushita in P18 doing a very similar time. So actually bumping up to a 1:05 is currently working very well for us. And out we go for lap 2. Now this is an important lap. As Jeff was just saying, we only have 30 seconds left, so we need to make this count now, as I assume Max is going to go out and absolutely blitz a lap, which will knock us out. Plus we have the other drivers like our teammate and Giovinazzi that could improve and also knock us out. Currently slightly down on this lap as we go through the very tight and narrow part of this track, which is, again, I still think it's a little bit strange. It's great fun to drive, but you can't really race or overtake on this particularly easy. Bit better through there, could have carried a bit more speed though. A little bit wide there, really wide there, and yet we have lost the rear end, and that is, I think that's game over. Currently down 3/10, 4/10, yeah, we're not going to improve. And by the looks of it, we've just been bumped out as well. So that is P17. And yeah, half a second down, we're out. We are not getting through. So that is going to be a very short qualifying session today. As we come down the final corner, half a second down, head towards the line. Will it be any lower than 17th? We shall find out. I don't think it will be, as I think we're the last car to cross the line. And it is P17. So that is back down to earth with a bump after our great result last weekend. And there you can see confirmation, P17 for us, P19 for our teammate. And yeah, not a great start to this weekend. So rather disappointingly, that is going to wrap up this part of the episode. Unfortunately, we just couldn't seem to do much better than that, although I do believe we left the time out on the track, which is a little bit frustrating to know that, as I do feel like we could have pushed Grosjean and Raikkonen a little bit more. Oh well, it is what it is. This happens in racing sometimes, and we'll just have to make up the places tomorrow in the race, so make sure you're there for that. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you want to see more content like this, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. Alrighty then, I've been Jumbo, and I'll see you for the race tomorrow.